All right, so I didn't plan on doing this, but as I was leaving the gym, I was thinking, it's the Fourth of July and everything. And first of all, I want to say thank you to the men and women who have served in the armed forces. If it weren't for y'all, we would not have the freedoms that we do today. And something, that kind of upsets me is when there's so much negative sentiment about America. And I'm not saying that America has done everything correctly or there's no room for improvement. But what I can't stand is fucking negativity about the US from people who have only benefited from the US. Like, if you were born in the United States, you have more privileges than like 99% of the world. Like, we have so many freedoms that are afforded to us, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, even to be able to pursue almost anything you want, right? And now it doesn't guarantee happiness. You can't guarantee outcomes. You can guarantee like potential or opportunity in a sense, like if everybody's on like a equal playing field, but you cannot guarantee outcomes. And it's really sad and exhausting to hear about how terrible America is by people who will never leave and have been afforded privileges and have these freedoms and have grown up with these freedoms like their entire lives. It's like you're so blind. Like, you are so blind to your own freedoms, and you are so blind to how great you actually have it. It comes off as like very ungrateful, you know? Practice some fucking gratitude, because not everybody gets to have these opportunities, to participate in elections, to vote for representatives. People don't really vote in their like local government, which, I mean, it's important. It's a ripple effect. Get involved. But just bitching and complaining is just annoying. It doesn't do anything to make anything better. And it shows it's just ignorant. It's just straight up ignorant. I'm sorry. And I know this might offend people, but hey, the truth can be offensive at times. I think that there is very much a learned victimhood or victim mindset where it's very easy to be like, woe is me, woe is me. And like, dude, there's been plenty of times where my life has sucked, right? But I don't blame the fucking government. I don't blame, fucking whatever the hell, Israel, whatever the fuck. Personal responsibility and accountability. Like, my situations I gotta deal with are largely due to myself and my own actions. I can do things to get out of them. I did things to get into them. And to outsource that blame to others is just, it's not right. And it's a completely defeating mindset. And it's like, those people where like everything happens to them, right? It's like it's always somebody else's fault. It's never their own fault for anything. It's a very naive and childish mindset to have. Now, yes, do shitty things happen to people that were out of their control? Yes, of course. Do people grow up in households that, weren't the healthiest? Yeah, I mean, I'm one of them. My household was not your stereotypical nuclear family, fucking everything is great. But it's our responsibility to, like, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to improve? How are we going to make the world better? How are we going to make things better for the next generation? There's just so much doom and gloom on the fucking internet. and you just get sucked into this vortex of negativity, and it just like festers. It's really like misery loves company, and I really do think it's infected the country. And I'm not like some doomsday prepper or anything like that, but I mean, it's very real that you have a large portion of the population that dislikes the country that they live in. And not only do they dislike it, they like champion against it. And all of it to seem not to be, but to seem more moral than the next guy, or more righteous, or whatever, which is really just feeding your own ego. And you know what? Doing that, you do that so much to fill a hole right here, and guess what? It's never filled. I wonder why that is. It's because every problem that you have is attributed to something out of your control, and therefore, I mean, what are you going to do about it? It's the easiest scapegoat. It's a fucking cope. Get the fuck over it. If you don't like it, leave or vote for something different. But if you're just going to sit there and complain and do nothing about it, then dude, you're just poisoning everybody else around you. And I'll say this, like, I never voted for Trump at all. And it's so mind-blowing that I'm even talking about this, but I never voted for Trump. Yet somehow I'm able to like not just talk about the things that Trump says or does or complain America bad. Like it's really simple, actually. God, it's like if that is so, when that becomes such a part of your identity, it is a chore to fucking be around you. And I'm not the only one that feels this way. There are plenty of people that feel this way. And it's just kind of like, dude, what a slap in the face to the people, to the men and women that serve this country to afford us these rights and to afford us our freedom, to just kind of like essentially spit in their face and make it for nothing. I think it's actually pretty fucking terrible. And I don't jive with that, son. And I'll even say, like, dude, even things like with Charlie Kirk. So I made a TikTok a while back, like when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, talking about like, dude, that's fucked up for that to happen. That is my only video that has been taken down on a social media platform. I didn't say anything fucking crazy or anything like that, but it blows my mind that speaking out against something like, I don't know, shooting somebody is like, oh no, we can't have any of that. Like, why? Dude, that is a rational fucking perspective. That is like a normal thing to think. But you have people celebrating shit like that, and like that's not cool. And if your ideology brings you to a point where assassinating political opponents gets you off, you have fucking lost the plot, my friend. And you really need to check yourself, because I guarantee all these people that complain that are never going to go anywhere, but say that they're gonna up and leave. Go up and leave. Watch how fast you want to come back. I'd put money on it. I would put so much money on it. And this especially goes for people that I wouldn't even say, I don't even want to say people that come over here legally or illegally, because it's not even that. And you know what? I want to share a story. So back years ago, I met a friend of mine named Claude from South Africa. And I remember the first time I spoke to this dude, I thought, man, this man is more patriotic than 70% of the people that I interact with. The way he spoke about America was so inspiring to me. and was like, wow, you have this guy who's not even from here, who dealt with actual police brutality, actual racism and shit in his own country. He dealt with that, and he's talking about how it was his dream to come here and how you could do anything here and you could, you have a chance at a better life, and how grateful he was to be here. And I've known some people that, they came over on student visas, and they got their green cards, and then subsequently they got citizenship. But like that was such a stressful time for them when they didn't know whether or not they were going to be allowed to become citizens. So it's like you have these people that are so happy to come here, and then you as an American are like, talk about how terrible it is and how we're evil, and colonialism is bad. I went to St. Augustine recently, and there was American flags everywhere, like American history, and it was so refreshing to be somewhere where you could actually be proud to be an American. And there are people out there that do have that pride. My mom was very patriotic. She lost her father in the Vietnam War. She had plenty of reason to be against, the country or the government, and yet still she would wear like red, white, and blue, like her sneakers as a kid. She would say the Pledge of Allegiance whenever she saw a flag. And like, if you have people that have every reason to not like a country like the United States, and yet they're the ones being patriotic, I think you've got a fundamental problem with your ideology and your belief system. I really think you need to get off the fucking internet.